The bathroom of a liquor store. Well, there are now some new cocktails in honor of the Boozy Bandit.
Because why not? Take a look at this. 3 new drinks were just unveiled, and their names are Rye Rascal Sour, Trash Panda Old Fashioned, and Midnight Mass Gin Fizz. You can download the ingredients and enjoy them at home.
That's amazing. All right, that does it for us tonight. We'll see you back here at 10. Have a safe night. Extra start.
New York City skyline. Tonight is a very special night here on Newsroom Live. We are awaiting not a performance. I wish he was performing, but he's teasing his performance. Mr. Las Vegas, Wayne Newton, who will hopefully be joining us soon. He's zooming in from Vegas. Hi everybody, I'm Richard and I'm here with Lou. Come on in, Lou, because we're waiting for Wayne to come on. You know, this is all live and he's getting ready from his dressing room at the Flamingo. You know, we were talking a lot about this because he is such a well, he is a legend.
He's a legend.
Go over his career.
All right. First of all, he's a major legend. I remember growing up. You know, Wayne Newton to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, in full disclosure, I was not a big Wayne Newton fan. I was a kid. So rock and roll, you know, the Beatles, the Stones, and even Motown. But I know for a fact that this man, I mean, he was just a monster in the industry.
Yeah.
When you thought of Las Vegas, you thought of 2 people. You thought of Elvis Presley, and you thought of Wayne Newton. That was it.
Yeah.
And then people went to Las Vegas, and Vegas was a lot different then than it is now.
Yeah.
At that time, like now it's very family-oriented. Back then it was down and dirty. You went to gamble, and you went to go see the shows. That was it. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yes,
all right?
You're right.
It's a city that was built on, not the most unsavory of people, we can say, right? Put it together. You know, people have seen the movies, Bugsy Malone and things like that. So we know what that was like. So people went to spend money, and they went to see big shows. And if you're going to get people to spend money, you had to have big acts.
More than 30,000 performances, and he's coming on right now.
All right, so I'm going to step away because I want to give I was the warm-up to Wayne Newton. I can tell my kids I was the warm-up to the biggest star in Vegas.
Okay,
go ahead.
And there he is. Hi, Mr. Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, he can hear me? Okay, you can unmute him now. Oh, he's muted. Okay, you have to unmute you. You unmute. There we go. And there I am. Could we play that opening again while he does that? All right, we're gonna play a little bit of Wayne Newton performing at his show in Las Vegas. Watch this.
Well, I don't care what's right or wrong.
Okay, so we're back, and we are so blessed to have the one and only Mr. Wayne Newton. Wayne, thanks so much for coming on with us here on Newsroom Live, here on Fox Local.
Richard, I'm thrilled and I'm excited and looking forward to talking to you. Thank you.
It is our honor to have you, and the reason we have you for so many reasons, but one of the major reasons is because you are returning to New York City. I know you're zooming in from your show in Las Vegas where you've signed another deal at the Flamingo. We'll get to that, but I'd love to talk about what
Okay.
it feels like coming back to New York City.
Well, it's really exciting because as I reflect on my career period, New York meant so much to me in the early days of my career that coming back there really just sparks all those fine thoughts and wonderful ideas that of the people and the places that meant a lot to me in my life.
Your show, Mr. Las Vegas Memories and Melodies, coming to the City Winery. There it is on December 29th and 30th. It's a bit of a full circle moment, I think, for you, because from what we've spoken about, you got almost your start on the Jackie Gleason show. He was kind of like a mentor for you and kind of just, in a way, discovered you.
Well, actually, he went on tour when he took a 2 year hiatus from TV years ago. He then decided to go back on TV again. And when he did, he rented a train in New York and he loaded it with press people. And they went from coast to coast plugging the new show because he would not fly. And so the gentleman who'd given me my television show in Phoenix when I was 15 years old, actually from the time I was 8 until I was 15, he called me and he said, "We got Jackie Gleason coming through town. We have no idea who to get to entertain him. Would you come down from Vegas and sing at the luncheon?" So that's how I met Mr. Gleason.
Wow. And then from there, you get to Las Vegas.
Right. I had actually I had been in Las Vegas at the point that Mr. Gleason came through to plug his new show in Phoenix, and the gentleman who owned the television station in Phoenix called me. Said, "Would you come down and entertain at the luncheon? Because we have no idea who to get to entertain him." So I did my shows in Las Vegas and jumped in the car, drove to Phoenix, got there in time to sing at the luncheon. So that's how I met Mr. Gleason, and that's when he asked me to be on his first show coming back on the air.
Wow. And for you, 6.5 decades of performing on the Vegas Strip, when you get there, you've signed on for another year at the Flamingo, which you're doing in 2026. Is that show the show that you bring here to New York? And if you could tell our audience just a little bit about what that show is like.
Okay, I'm excited about that because the show is built around how I got to Vegas, how I started in show business, and then I decided to write a show that thanked the people who were so instrumental in my life and career and helped so much when I got to Vegas. And then, of course, Phoenix, and then coming back to Vegas and doing my shows here. New York has just meant so much to me because obviously the guy who ultimately started producing my records for Capitol Records was Bobby Darin, and he is from New York. And so I had met him also when I came to do the Gleason show.
Yeah. And this show that you bring, as I'm looking here, you play 13 instruments. Do you play all 13 in the show?
No, I don't. I play
Okay.
probably 9 or 10 in the show,
Oh,
but
that's a lot.
when you're doing when I started in Vegas, 6 shows a night, 6 nights a week, and I was underage, so they had to get me a permit to work even, and so I had plenty of time to rehearse and learn new instruments, which kind of kept me going. And because people had to buy in those years a 60 cent drink in order to stay at the lounge and watch the show.
Wow. It's a lot more than 60 cents now.
Yes, it's gone up a little.
A little bit. Well, Mr. Newton, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I'd love to just go back in time a little bit, if we can, to talk about some of your hits.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Love
we'll be
to.
right
Thank
back
you.
here on Newsroom Live with the one and only, the Midnight Idol, Wayne Newton.
Thank you for all the joy and pain. I want some red roses for blue. Lady, Daddy, slow down some, 'cause you're making me run. Daddy, don't you want so bad?
We are back here on Newsroom Live, here on Fox Local, with the one and only Wayne Newton, who is joining us from Las Vegas tonight at the Flamingo. That's where you're performing tonight, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
3 nights
Thank
a
you.
week at the Flamingo, which we love to see that you are still on the Strip after all these years. So talking about this rise to stardom, we just heard a bunch of your number ones, which span from as early as 1963 when Danke Schoen reached in the top 20 on the Billboard charts, all the way to Daddy Don't You Walk So Fast in 72. Talk about Danke Schoen and a little bit of when the first time you heard that song on the radio.
All right. The first time I heard the song after I'd recorded it is I was in a car with a press agent in New York, or in Los Angeles rather, and we were doing some promos, driving around in the news and all that stuff. And he turned on the radio. And the announcer said, this is a brand new young singer. And it's supposed to be a guy, but we think it's actually Margaret Whiting recording under a different name. That's the first time I heard Danke Schoen on the radio. And that was the introduction. So that was quite a wonderful example. But then, of course, as time went on, the film hit Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Danke Schoen became a hit all over again as a result of that movie. And so Danke Schoen actually became a hit twice, mine with version when it was released, and then his version when he was lip syncing to me on the float in the film. And I found out about a year later that the song Danke Schoen had truly been written for Bobby Darin to record and followed his hit of Mac the Knife with it. But he was so intent to make sure he got me a hit record that he gave me the song that was meant for him to record.
Wow. Wow, those are some tidbits I don't think we ever heard Very interesting. After that,
No, as a matter of fact, I've never. Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. After that, of course, in 1973, I received a tape from a couple of guys in England, and they had written a song called "Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast." So in those years, I had to go back to Capitol to ask if that would be a song that I could record. And I was so taken with the song because it was the first actual kind of its song that was dealing with marriage and divorces and children and all of that kind of thing. And so I sent it to the A&R guy at Capitol Records, and he called me back and he said, no, absolutely. That's the worst song I've ever heard. So I wasn't convinced it was a bad song. So I started doing it on stage here in Vegas. And people would come in the audience through the week and request that song. And so I went ahead and recorded it, paid for it myself, and I took it into the A&R guy who had to okay everything in those years. And he was really irritated that I had gone against his wishes and recorded the song. So as I walked in his office, he had his feet up on the desk, and he looked at me and I said, well, here's the song. I've recorded it and I've paid for it. So he propped his feet up on the desk, put the acetate on a little record player, and played it without ever looking at me or even acknowledging the fact that I was talking to him. And he played it all the way through, never looking at me, never looking anywhere else. And he looked at me and he said, that could be the worst song I've ever heard.
Wow.
Well, I have a thing that I have to be careful with, and that is I can pretty much put up with people who ask me anything or make remarks about anything, unless it's actually rude. And he was so rude. I said, well, why don't you just give me the record back, because I paid for it and I recorded it. And I said, and my contract, and I'll not bother you anymore. And he reached in the desk without opening, without looking down to see what he's getting, and handed me my recording contract. So when I was walking out of Capitol Records, I thought to myself, maybe I overreacted, And so I went back to the gentleman that had produced the record, and he said, well, Wayne, he said, it's not all that bad. I'm thinking about starting my own record company, and we'll start it with this record. And the rest of it's history. The record became #1 and was actually chosen after all the hits of 1973. It was chosen the Song of the Year.
And it still lives on to this day. And it's still relevant
And it still
to this
lives
day.
on. Yes, it is. Actually, it's more relevant than it was then,
Right.
because people weren't used to hearing about that kind of thing.
No, and when you listen to the lyric, it's my personal favorite of yours. When you listen to the lyric, I don't sometimes when you hear it for the first time, you may not know exactly what it is. But when you listen to the lyric, you're absolutely right. It is. We talk about that so much more now than you did back then.
We did then, yes.
For sure. If we just want to touch on the song, The Letter, because that's a very meaningful song to you.
Very meaningful song, and as I reflect on it, it was my connection with the audience that proved to me that the song was worth having. And so I started singing it every night, and people would come in just to hear that song. And so thank you very much for the compliments.
No, it is, and it was really it was a letter. It was about the Elvis letter, just for people who don't know.
Oh, the Elvis letter. I thought we were still on Daddy Elvis.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay. The dear friend of mine who worked at Sotheby's, and I had done a lot of business with them over the years, called me at home, and she said, we have a a thing that Elvis wrote that we're running through the sale, and I was aware of your friendship with Elvis, and she said, so I wanted to make you aware that this piece of memorabilia was going to go through the sale. And so I asked her what it would bring, and she told me, and so I said, yes, I'll purchase it. So I did, and all of a sudden, because all of these companies that do these kind of auctions like to keep it personal, and they don't tell anybody who bought what. All of a sudden, I'm getting records, or I'm getting letters from Elvis fans who wanted to know what the note said. And so after wrestling with it and wanting to keep it a secret, I decided that we should write a song surrounding the message. I could produce the Elvis part of it by actually not singing it, but talking about it. And excuse me just a moment. So my wife and I sat down. We were in New Jersey at the time, and we wrote the song, The Letter. And in the middle, I recite exactly what Elvis had written in that message, because he would do his shows, and then he would come back to his room, and he would sit down and write some of the highlights that had happened that day. And then he'd go to sleep. And he had thrown this away, and one of his aides had found it and kept it. Then he fell on some hard times, so that's when he decided to sell it. But the song became #1.
Yes, it did. And it's a beautiful song, and the reciting of the letter is beautiful too. And these are just some of the stories that you will hear in Wayne Newton's show, Mr. Las Vegas Memories and Melodies, which is here at the City Winery in New York City at the end of the month, December 29th and 30th. We'll have a little bit more with Mr. Entertainment. You have so many titles. I don't know how many more titles can we say.
Well, I think it's because I wouldn't leave town once I got here.
Don't stay. And we need you here in New York too. More with Wayne Newton when we come right back here on Newsroom Live.
My God, it's Wayne Newton. Oh, I'm a fan, sir. I am a fan. I can't believe I'm standing next to you.
Well, here, take my seat, Eddie. Thank you very much for the drink, Wayne.
Okay, good night, Wayne.
There's Mr. Las Vegas in National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation in 1997. Wayne Newton is still with us, and we thank you for your time tonight, all the way from Las Vegas. When you filmed that movie, I feel like that brought you to a whole new generation of fans.
Did, and in fact, it was really interesting because I've always wanted to thank him for doing that film and including my song in it and then lip syncing to it. And so it was, I've never had a chance to do that yet in person. So I'll do it one of these days.
For sure. Do you have a memory of being on set with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo and going through that? You were at Shenandoah for part of that filming?
Absolutely. They were simply wonderful. And Beverly D'Angelo was actually a singer from Columbus, Ohio. Her father owned a nightclub there, and she would sing every night with a big band. And the other side of that coin is Chevy's mother, I think, is a teacher in the University of Music in one of the eastern, maybe it's Maryland or New York. So we would sit between takes and jam and sing and kind of irritating the director, if you will. And so I have lots of memories about that.
If we only had footage of that, wouldn't love to see that behind the scenes footage of Vegas Vacation. We'd love to talk about the USO. I know that's very near and dear to your heart. Go ahead.
Before we get to that, let's go back to Vegas Vacation. There is a scene in there that I come into the audience and I'm singing to Beverly D'Angelo, where the young man says, "Oh my God, he's hitting on mom." You know, yes.
Yeah.
And what most people do not know is that my mother-in-law was in the next row as an extra for the film.
I'm looking at her.
Overlooking that scene.
Yes.
And so it was a little nerve-wracking, that particular scene, with my mother-in-law sitting there, you know. So
that was her cameo.
That's one of my favorites.
I love that. See,
I'm
we
sorry,
learn
go ahead,
something
but
new all the time. There's always a story. There's always a story with Wayne Newton. If you could tell us about the USO, your love for our troops, and I know you did so many USO tours with these troops performing for our troops, and I know it's very near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is. I had thought that maybe one day I would go into the military when I was growing up, and so in high school I was in our ROTC, and then of course when the draft hit with Vietnam, I was coming 18, and I came back to Phoenix for my checking in with the people. And the sergeant looked at my health record, and I had and have a history of being born with asthma, and so he looked at my records and he stamped 1Y on my records and handed them to me, and he said, "You can go." And I said, go where? And he said, "We don't care where you go. We're just never going to call you because we can't have the asthmatic condition in our military." And so I went back to Lake Tahoe, where I was working at the Harrah's there, walked out on stage, and the Marine Corps had bought out the entire show. And so it was just a room full of uniforms. And that's when I came off stage and I said to my brother, I said, "They can stop me from singing or from fighting, but they can't stop me from singing to our troops. Wow. So I'm going to Vietnam, and if you want to come, we'll go. And if you don't, I'm going." And so we did go, and that started a lifelong commitment to the men and women in our military. And when we would do shows at all these different places, all over Europe, all over the United States, I would always say to the people in the audience, "Give me your wife, your mother and father's home number, and when I get home, I'll call them and tell them that I saw you here and you're doing great. So I have made over, I think, 70,000 phone calls over the years. And I got one lady who came to the phone, and I was going to tell her about seeing her guy in Bahrain, I think. And I said, "This is Wayne Newton," and she hung up. And so I called her back and said, "Don't hang up, don't hang up. This is no joke. I was in Vietnam, or not Vietnam, but Bahrain, and I saw your boyfriend there, and he asked me to do this for you." And I said, "Are you ready?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Will you marry me?" And there was silence. And then I said, "Are you still there?" She said, "I have been waiting for years for that to call me and ask me to marry him. And now he chickens out and has you do it." So, I mean, we could go through days with those kind of stories.
Wow. I mean, you out of the 70,000 plus, that might be the best one, I'm sure. But that's hilarious. I thought we were going for a touching moment there, and then you took us there. But that's the beauty of you and what you do in your show. I know you're coming to New York City December 29th and 30th at the City Winery. Do you have any plans while you're here in New York? Are you spending Christmas here?
No, in fact, we're going to do 2 shows in Philly, 2 shows in New York, and then I have to leave after the second show, come back to Vegas for a New Year's show at the Flamingo.
Oh, wow. Wayne Newton is still keeping very busy.
As a matter of fact, that's probably a good idea. It keeps me out of trouble.
I think so. I have to tell you what an honor it is for me personally to do this because, you know, I tell this story, when I was a kid and my dad was the only one who drove me. You were playing Harrah's in Atlantic City, and I wanted to see you. And we went, he drove me to Atlantic City, and we had seats all the way up in the balcony. It was the last row, and I was like, oh, I wish I was closer. I wish I could see Wayne Newton closer. I've been waiting to see him so long. And then he took me down. He says, all right, wait right here. And then he came back to get me. And in those days, you could tip the usher to get seats close. And so we wound up in the third row.
Yes.
And I said, oh, my dream has come true. So that was my first experience seeing you, and I look forward to seeing you again at the City Winery at the end of the month. And I hope many people here in New York City do, because it is a very special show. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Richard. Really great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is ours. Mr. Las Vegas, Wayne Newton from Las Vegas, talking to us tonight here on Newsroom Live. We will have more. We're going to debrief the interview and talk about a lot more here on Newsroom Live when we come right back. And we're back here on Newsroom Live, still reeling from our half hour there with the one and only Wayne Newton, Mr. Las Vegas.
Not reeling. We're not reeling. We
You were the opening act.
I was the opening act of Wayne Newton. Listen, 1963. It's so fascinating. 1963. He said was to show you how long he's been in this business.
Right. 6.5 decades. So he started at 15.
63. You said that when was it Dunkershake came out?
Yep.
That's the year I was born. And I'm
Really?
Yeah, that was
So
my.
we know how old you are now.
So everyone knows how old I am. I'm 62 years old. I'll be 63 in January.
62.
But the thing is that it shows you longevity, and look, we see a lot of the old timers like the Rolling Stones, a lot of those groups from the 60s. The Who, today Roger Daltrey.
Right.
He was knighted. It should have happened years and years ago, and the longevity is only because you have to be a greatness. If you're not great, you don't last. That's really what it comes down to, and. Again, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not saying that I'm a big fan of Wayne Newton. I did not, as a kid growing up, there was rock and roll and everything else. But I will give you this. And I remember mostly, it's funny, I don't remember I remember like the performances, not just the he saw at Vegas, that was hilarious. But he was like, back then, there was a thing called sweeps in television. Okay, if anybody wonders what that is. February, May, and November were the big months because that's when whatever your ratings were for a show back then, in the day, that usually how they sold advertising. So you did special things, special events.
Right.
So a lot of times shows like the Lucy Show and all these old shows, they would take a trip to Vegas as part of the show. And you knew they went to Vegas, they were going to run into Wayne Newton. It's amazing how they always ran into Wayne Newton, and he was always part of the show.
That is true, and he says that in his live shows. He talks about the Lucy Show, and he talks about his appearances.
And his appearances were there, and it was done as, he played himself, and that was the whole idea. There were the casino.
Well, they had guest stars.
Right.
So that in those days.
But everyone knew if you're going to go to Vegas, you had to have Wayne Newton as part of the show because everyone expected that. That was just the way it is. You can't be. Look, there was a lot of big time names. The Rat Pack. There was Don Rickles who played Vegas. There was all these great old timers. Sinatra was the Rat Pack.
Right.
Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis, and they went there individually, and they also did it as a group. They were big, big names that played there.
Right.
But no one ever says, "Hey, Frank Sinatra, the Mr. Las Vegas." They always knew Wayne Newton because he was there. That's what he did. He played Vegas. He was Vegas, and when people went there, they gambled and they went to a Wayne Newton show. That was just the way it was, and it was always that way. And that's what puts you on that pedestal of greatness.
Can you imagine, though, and he was talking about some of them. He touched on a few stories, but the amount of stories he has,
it can be amazing. It must be unbelievable.
His show it's a kind of like a retrospective of his career, obviously. Well, and he closes it with "My Way," which is not his song.
No, of course not.
That was Sinatra's song, and then Elvis sang it.
Paul Anka
wrote it.
I mean, that was an amazing song. But it's a song that it's synonymous to the big stars of that time. Frank obviously made it famous by singing it. It was really Paul Anka's song who wrote it, and it was written for Frank.
It was.
And it's just one of those songs that it's true for so many great stars. Great stars did it their way, and that's why they survived. Now look, Wayne Newton, great what he does. Now I'm a sports guy, so we want to talk about My Way. One of the guys who did it his way. It was a big time to talk about stars. Citi Field's going to be two less stars, but one less big star.
You see how Lou transitions?
All right.
He told me because he's a producer.
And that's right.
He's done with Wayne Newton now.
No, we're done.
We're going to talk more about Wayne Newton with Natasha.
Look, we love you, Wayne. Go do your show. But the thing is, now we go to sports, and we go right to Pete Alonso. And
oh boy,
Met fans tonight are in mourning. I mean, they are so
guess
depressed.
What?
They're
Guess
depressed.
who was in mourning this time last year when we were doing that guy right there, Juan Soto.
Right.
So I was in mourning, and now I don't really care anymore. But I can understand why. Pete Alonso's been a fixture of the Mets.
He's homegrown.
Yeah.
Juan Soto was there for 1 year.
Right.
And sure, it was a big hit, but the Yankees survived. This is a homegrown star. And it's obvious to me now, and I said this a few weeks ago when they traded Brandon Nimmo, is that they want to change the atmosphere at Citi Field. I know they're a fan favorite. That's great. Him, Diaz, I mentioned this today on the noon. But the problem with the Met fans is they fall in love with these guys. Like, I'm a fan favorite of Pete. But Pete's a lot of home runs. Big numbers. Diaz, saves. Oh, great closer. Trumpets blaring. But the one thing they haven't done is they haven't won. There's no championships. There's no World Series appearances. You can say what you want. As great as Aaron Judge is, and Yankee fans love him, and I'm sure no Yankee fan wants him to go, but you start hearing rumblings. Hey, Aaron, You haven't won. You know, he's not the fan favorite
Right.
that, say, Derek Jeter will be. He's not the fan favorite of the core four of Bernie and Pettit and Rivera. He's not.
That is
As
true.
great as he was, and that's the same thing with Pete. So there comes a time when you have a collapse like the Mets did this year, you have to clean house. And sometimes that's painful, and Met fans don't want to see the pain. They don't want to feel the pain. Nobody wants to ever feel
You think
pain.
You think he wanted to go?
I think once Diaz left, once Brandon left, he read the writing on the wall. He wanted his 5 years. The Mets weren't going there. David Stearns, he's got a vision. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I will say this, though. He better start showing some of that vision. They better start making some moves. Otherwise, you see all those crowds, see how big the crowd is? That crowd's not going to be there next year. They set all sorts of records for Citi Field. That's not going to happen because one thing about New York fans, yeah, they love rebuilds and all that BS. But the truth of the matter is, that doesn't mean they're going to pay New York prices. So unless they plan on lowering their prices, they better start putting some stars in there. Because as great as Soto is and Lindor, the rest of the lineup, and listen, I'm looking forward to see what they can do. But until they do it, people aren't going to be excited. And people are upset. A lot of Mets fans are upset.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. You know,
You're a Mets fan. Are you upset?
No, because I'm also a sports
A lot of Mets
fan.
fans are upset.
No,
I'm not.
No, I'm telling you why I'm not. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not. Because look, I've been following sports for a long time. I love the Mets. You know, that's probably the last team I actually root for. But I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to change the culture of losing in that team. And other than 2 years ago in 2024 when they had this amazing run to the NLCS, which came out of nowhere, they really haven't done much, this group. They haven't. And they keep raving about this group. But this group, you know, Pete
They were
and
so
Nimmo,
overhyped with Soto last year, and they
and
said
they were
what was going to
overhyped,
happen.
and they've been overhyped for years. Now they have Lindor. They signed him to a big contract. He's not moving out.
Right.
Obviously, Soto's not going anywhere. And now they have a group of young players. You hope those young players will take the next step and make that move. That's the hope.
So what now? Just to touch on the Yankees, who of course haven't made any moves.
Well,
as usual.
You know, people kept saying how horrible a day this was for the Mets, and I don't disagree. It wasn't a very good day for the Yankees. Think about it. Pete went to Baltimore. Now, Baltimore's starting to spend money, something they hadn't done in a long time. They have a big-time hedge fund guy, David
the Yankees
Rubenstein.
went after him?
No, not at all. So now they bring in Pete. They're going to land a big-time starter. They have a couple of other pieces in place. Team won, remember that team won the division a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, Baltimore needs to rebuild, though.
Well, no, they don't. That's the point. They have talent. They have talent on that team. They add a big-time starting pitcher, which I believe they will.
Right.
Now they are a contender. We always saw what the Blue Jays did in the World Series. The Yankees lost to them. Okay, Brian Cashman can give the BS about how the same amount of wins. I don't care. They beat you up in the regular season. They beat you in the playoffs, and they went within one pitch of winning the World Series. Red Sox are looking to make a splash. They're trying to add bodies. Right. They might do that. They're active. And Tampa's Tampa, who's always seems to be there. So for the Yankees, who are standing pat, we don't know if Bellinger's going to come back because now I'm assuming, it's an assumption, the Mets are going to go heavy after him. If the Mets go heavy after him and they take Cody Bellinger, where are the Yankees moves? This guy, they already took Devin Williams. Say what you want, but for some reason,
Cody Bellinger has Scott Boras.
And
that's it.
That's why Scott Boras and Cody Bellinger is not going to take a Yankee discount. It's not going to happen.
No, I know.
And so
most likely, I honestly don't know if we'll see Cody Bellinger next year.
Well,
and that would be a big mistake.
You might see him. You might see him in Citi Field.
Yeah.
I
don't think he's going to be Yankees.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on Steve Cohen and David Stearns to now make moves. They have to. They can talk all they want about rebuilding and young players. I know we got a minute left. Don't look at the clock. I'm not done
Well,
yet.
I'm looking because, it's enough about the Mets.
No, we're going to be done. And the Yankees and the Mets have not done much this offseason.
No.
And now, a lot of pressure on both Cashman and Stearns, especially Stearns now. When you let fan favorites go, you have a plan. That's one thing. But you better execute that plan.
You know what it
and
is?
you better bring in some players.
As long as those fans fill the seats.
But they're not going to. One
okay,
thing
well,
about
until
baseball,
I see that, until I see fans
one thing
boycotting
I
it,
will tell you,
then I'll believe that.
I will look a couple of years ago when they were. Look, I'll tell you right now about the Mets and the Yankees. They're not the Knicks. They're not the Giants. Losing, they don't come out for baseball. They just don't. That's a lot of games out there, 162 games. They don't come out like the Knicks fans. Knicks fans, they're all brainwashed. They're all Wall Street clowns. They all come in. They want to sit there. They want to sit next to the celebrities, and they sell it out when they win 10 games. Knicks are a much better team this year. Giant fans, they go out in the snow and the cold, and it's amazing.
Right.
But that's not the case with baseball. So you got to have a winning team in there, or you're not going to draw.
Totally right. Well, Lou and I will keep watching this all off season, and once the new season comes, I think we should start a pod. You have one already. All right, never mind.
I got two, but who's counting?
Oh yeah, he does. We'll be right back with more of Newsroom Live. Our Nick Gregory joins us because it's either very cold or it rains, but that's New York.
Or
we'll
both.
be right back, or both.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, we're back here on Newsroom Live as we approach the 8 o'clock hour in the next 13 minutes. The wind is blowing over New York City tonight. It's a raw and rainy December evening. It feels a little bit, though, more like pre-winter, Nick, than it does like February?
Well, that as it's felt lately.
Yes.
Because we did have a little improvement in temperatures today. And we made it to the upper 40s. We had 47 for the
It
high.
actually felt
So
nice.
you could felt
I was like, oh, wow. And then the rain came, and I was like, well, of course, par for the course of New York.
It's amazing. It's like, we're like, ooh, we're rooting for 40s. It's
We're
like,
really-
we
we
got
are,
there.
though.
Well, we did, because the average high is 46. So we were right there.
Okay, good.
But don't get used to it.
I
because
know.
we
I
are
saw your
transition-
forecast at 5.
Yeah, it's going to turn colder. In fact, there's a 7-day. So tomorrow with 36, windy. Winds are going to gust to 40 miles per hour tomorrow. We're already on the decline now, so we're still upper 40s Long Island, but it is still freezing or below from northeastern Pennsylvania up to Monticello. They did have some snow up there today, way north and west. We just ended up with rain, but you can see in the last 24 hours, feel the difference. It's warmer, right? 10, 13 degrees or so, depending upon where you are. We had this pretty breezy southwest wind that helped warm things up today. It did bring in the rain. There's that southwest wind now. It's 15 miles an hour sustained, but it's gusting now 25 to 30.
I felt it.
And,
So at about, I want to say like 6:30 I stepped out.
Yep.
And you started to feel that was like, here it comes.
Yeah, well, we're getting closer
Here it
to
comes.
because we're getting closer to that storm system, and so the result is the wind's going to increase. Now tomorrow the wind's going to switch out of the northwesterly direction, so that's going to bring back the cold. And again, it's going to be gusty tomorrow, gusting 40 miles an hour. But we're out on the back edge of the rain. Here's the latest radar. Still snowing up there in the Hudson Valley. You can see that in the whitish colors. But that's the back edge of the rain now moving through western New Jersey. So it's about to shut down. That'll be the end of it for the
How, so, I think we keep talking about, I feel like everybody's it's like, isn't it so early to be this cold? What, the prolonged, I feel we get
Right.
the days, but if you look at your forecast, it's like there's very little relief.
Yes, today was our day in the 40s, and then
Yes,
it stays
the one
cold.
day.
Yeah, but it's the pattern that we're in. It's happened before.
Okay.
It will happen again. We talked about this pattern last month, that it would be setting up that December would be winter would kick off a little harshly, which has been the case, and it's going to stay that way, at least for the next week and a half.
When you look into if you're looking long term, end of the month towards Christmas, Are we seeing it mild out a little bit? Or?
I mean, maybe it just won't be as harsh.
Okay.
But, we'll be back closer to average, lower 40s for high temperatures, that kind of thing.
We'll take those 40s, Nick.
But the pattern is, right now, is very susceptible to this cold. We talked about the polar vortex situation and the La Nina situation, which is still very present, which is why we're seeing these cold blasts coming through. So now, of course, we'll turn our attention towards the second half of December. It's probably going to be a very similar pattern. We may get a break from time to time, but there'll still be some cold blasts coming through. Of course, we have to see if we're going to end it with a white Christmas.
Well, I mean, that would be okay.
Yes, but
right?
you know the odds of that, right?
What are the odds of a white Christmas?
In New York City,
yeah,
11% chance.
So what if we went up to where we live in the suburbs?
18% chance.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
did. I remember when we did have it.
Yes.
I remember when we did have it.
Oh, sure.
It was a doozy.
And now we have to define what the white Christmas is. How do we define what is a white Christmas? You have to have an inch of snow on the ground on Christmas Day.
That's
it doesn't have to snow on Christmas.
Start Christmas Eve.
Or 2 days before, but you have to have an inch of snow on the ground on Christmas Day to define it as a white Christmas.
Is this your definition of a white Christmas?
That is
or is the definition?
The definition.
That's something I did not know.
So there you go.
You're telling me stories like Wayne Newton was telling me tonight.
See, you never know what you're going to find on Newsroom Live. So.
That is very, very true. Well, Nick Gregory, thank you always for talking to us. Nick
My
will be
pleasure.
back. We're going to take another break, and then we're going to see something from Meredith Gorman, because we love to feature all different holiday things this time of year. I'm like Mr. Christmas. I go out to all these different holiday displays and Santa and all these holiday light shows, but Meredith's taking my place tonight, and we're going to see where she went when we come right back. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Cruising right along here on Newsroom Live on a mid-December evening as we look out at that H&M building. That's the one shot we have tonight. Can we go to... Why don't we look up 6th Avenue? Can we look at the tree? Or do you have it? That's all right if you don't. Okay, I threw a curveball at them. We were talking to Wayne Newton for most of our broadcast tonight, and we had a really great interview. He shared so many stories, and the legend himself has so many stories to tell. So please look out for more of it. There we go. More of Wayne Newton's interview, which will be airing tonight on the 10 o'clock news on here on Fox Local and on our television. And we're looking now at our beautiful 6th Avenue on a rainy night, and there's that gridlock alert in Midtown Manhattan. All right, Gingerbread Lane, New York City. It's the Guinness World Record holding massive edible gingerbread village in New York City, and it's quite something. You know, I'm kind of jealous that I didn't get to do this tonight, but we sent the next greatest, and that's Meredith Gorman, because she's there to show us all about what Gingerbread Lane has to offer this holiday season.
Hey guys, joining me now is John Levitch, who is the founder of Gingerbread Lane. You've created this masterpiece behind me. Tell me about how you got started making these.
So in the 90s, back in Kansas City where I grew up, I entered a gingerbread house competition, lost. I was a little bit bitter about it, so I kind of went out on my own and just kind of started getting bigger and bigger until we reached the Guinness World Record status for the first time in 2013. And from there, it even continued to get bigger, and it kind of plateaued several years ago. This is kind of where we're at now.
Sure, and I'm going to step out of the frame a little bit just so we can zoom in on these gingerbread houses, but about how many are right here in New York City?
So about 750 are here this year, which is about 500 off of the actual world record, which is 1,251. But we own the world record, so we're allowed to continue to call ourselves the largest in the world as long as it's over 158 houses, which was our original world record. So as long as we stay over that plateau, we're allowed to continue to bill ourselves as the largest in the world. And each and every house within the exhibit's handmade. Everything is real gingerbread, real icing, and real candy. And everything's made fresh each year. We actually start the process over in late December and start making brand new stuff for the next year around the beginning of the winter.
And I mean, how much time does it take to make these? Like 12 months?
It literally takes the entire year. Like we start in late December and it doesn't end until right around Thanksgiving. This exhibit here has only been here for about a week and change. And yeah, it literally never actually stops. Each exhibit has about 500 to 700 hours in it, and we have 5 across the nation: Boston, DC, Chicago, New York, and Houston. And the largest in the world is obviously here in New York. But yeah, everything's new each year, and everything's fresh, and everything's different.
And is there a theme for this year's gingerbread display?
Well, we're actually kind of working on some stuff right now to kind of go with a more diverse theme. I've actually added a matzo ball shop back there, and I'm in the process of adding a halal shop and a dreidel shop so we can kind of start to work in some of the other, you know, ethnic backgrounds and customs and celebrations. We're non-religious, so there's no, you know, crucifixes or menorahs or anything like that, but we are trying to bring in some of the fun parts of the other religious celebrations that do happen during this time of the year. So we are adding some different things. The dreidel shop will be here this weekend, and so we've noticed over the years we have a tremendous amount of people that come see the exhibit that are wearing yarmulkes or they're Muslims and things of that nature. So we're trying to make sure that they enjoy it as much as everybody else.
Incredible. Now we'll bring over your daughter, Cece. Come here. So I hear you're a special helper for the gingerbread houses. Here, do you want to step over this? What is your favorite gingerbread house here?
Show her your favorite house.
Show us.
That's Cece's Toy Chest.
Whoa, you have a shop named after you?
What is it called? Is it called Cece's Nepotism Shop? Oh no,
No.
Cece's Toy Shop?
Yes.
And Cece, when your dad is building these gingerbread houses, do you ever get to go in and have a little snack of candy?
Sometimes when I'm a little hungry, I just get a little snack.
I love that.
Oh, hi, Kitty.
Hi, Kitty. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and this is amazing. If anybody's in the Chelsea area or really in the Manhattan area this holiday season, how can they come check this out?
So the building's pretty much open 7 days a week, 24 hours, never really closes. Ollie Ollie Market, the food hall that we're attached to, is open Monday through Saturday, and then they're open from 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. at night. And then we'll have make your own gingerbread house classes here at the market on the 17th and the 20th, 6 o'clock. Feel free to sign up online. $35. You get expert instruction from me. I'm the expert. And we'll teach you how to make your own gingerbread house, how to preserve it, or how to eat it with Cabernet, whatever floats your boat. And January 12th, on the last day, you can actually come take a piece of it home if you'd like. We give it away free on the last day.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join me tonight, and good luck, I guess, with the process next year, but enjoy some time off after the holidays.
I'm ready for
And thank
that.
you, Cece.
And bye.
All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Meredith. Okay, now we're all hungry for gingerbread. That's a cool display. We'll check it out. Top of the hour is next, and Natasha Verma's coming on. Stay with us on Newsroom Live. And more Wayne Newton talk, of course.
Welcome back to Newsroom Live, everybody. My name is Natasha Verma. I'm your host for this hour, and this is a live look outside. You can see the wind is whipping out there tonight. I was just out there. It is rainy, it is cold, all the things. Nick Gregory will be tracking your forecast on the 10 o'clock news, but I've got a treat for you. Remembered Richard Giacobis? He's
I was only
back.
on 2 minutes ago.
You were just here.
I'm here.
And you talked to Mr. Las Vegas himself.
I did.
Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton.
That's just perfect, Natasha, because
Wayne Newton.
I've been teaching Natasha who Wayne Newton is all night.
Yes,
but,
yes.
You know,
but I mean,
listen.
he's got some hits, some major hits. He's iconic. He's legendary. He was in Ferris Bueller Takes the Day Off, like that, his day off. You got the song there.
Vegas Vacation.
Vegas Vacation.
Yep.
So why'd you talk to him? What's he doing?
So he's coming to New York City, which, you know, he started, so he's been in this business for more than 6 decades. So think about how much he has to say. And he has a lot of stories. He's a great storyteller. And he's coming back to the City Winery here in New York. Sort of the west side, there's a couple locations of the City Winery, and he's doing his show called Mr. Las Vegas, Memories and Melodies. He's done Up Close and Personal. He's been on the Vegas Strip for all these years. He still performs in Vegas, so he's taking the Vegas show and he's bringing it here to the East Coast. So New York, you don't have to travel to go see Wayne. And if you've never, you know, you have to really appreciate old-time Vegas. You know, he's had so many titles. They call him Mr. Las Vegas. They call him the Midnight Idol. They call him Mr. Entertainment because he is all of those things. He gets up there with that gold microphone, and he kind of, and what he did in this interview was he like captures you because he has all these stories that you're like, wow, he is like one of the last, you know, of the real legends who could still tell these stories and experience them as he told them. So I know we have some of it. You want to show
he
everybody.
seems like just a gem to talk to, someone with
really
such
is.
a wealth of knowledge and such an entertainer as well. So let's roll the clip of you talking to him.
Darker shade, darling, darker shade. Thank you for.
It is our honor to have you, and the reason we have you for so many reasons, but one of the major reasons is because you are returning to New York City. I know you're zooming in from your show in Las Vegas where you've signed another deal at the Flamingo. We'll get to that, but I'd love to talk about what it feels like coming back to New York City.
Well, it's really exciting because as I reflect on my career period, New York meant so much to me in the early days of my career that coming back there really just sparks all those fine thoughts and wonderful ideas that of the people and the places that meant a lot to me in my life.
Your show, Mr. Las Vegas, Memories and Melodies, coming to the City Winery. There it is on December 29th and 30th. It's a bit of a full circle moment, I think, for you, because from what we've spoken about, you got almost your start on the Jackie Gleason show. He was kind of like a mentor for you and kind of in a way discovered you.
Well, actually, he went on tour when he took a 2-year hiatus from TV years ago. He then decided to go back on TV again. And when he did, he rented a train in New York and he loaded it with press people, and they went from coast to coast plugging the new show because he would not fly. And so the gentleman who had given me my television show in Phoenix when I was 15 years old, actually from the time I was 8 until I was 15, he called me and he said, "We got Jackie Gleason coming through town. We have no idea who to get to entertain him. Would you come down from Vegas and sing at the luncheon?" So that's how I met Mr. Gleason.
Wow. And then from there, you get to Las Vegas.
Right. I had been in Las Vegas at the point that Mr. Gleason came through to plug his new show in Phoenix, and the gentleman who owned the television station in Phoenix called me, said, "Would you come down and entertain at the luncheon? Because we have no idea who to get to entertain him." So I did my shows in Las Vegas and jumped in the car, drove to Phoenix, got there in time to sing at the luncheon. So that's how I met Mr. Gleason, and that's when he asked me to be on his first show coming back on the air.
Wow. And for you, 6.5 decades of performing on the Vegas Strip. When you get there, you've signed on for another year at the Flamingo, which you're doing in 2026. Is that show the show that you bring here to New York? And if you could tell our audience just a little bit about what that show is like.
Okay, I'm excited about that because the show is built around how I got to Vegas, how I started in show business, and then I decided to write a show that thanked the people who were so instrumental in my life and career and helped so much when I got to Vegas. And then, of course, Phoenix, and then coming back to Vegas and doing my shows here. New York has just meant so much to me because obviously the guy who ultimately started producing my records for Capitol Records was Bobby Darin, and he is from New York. And so I had met him also when I came to do the Gleason Show.
Yeah. And this show that you bring, as I'm looking here, you play 13 instruments. Do you play all 13 in the show?
No, I don't. I play probably 9 or 10 in the show, but when you're doing when I started in Vegas, 6 shows a night, 6 nights a week, and I was underage, so they had to get me a permit to work even, and so I had plenty of time to rehearse and learn new instruments, which kind of kept me going. And because people had to buy in those years a 60-cent drink in order to stay at the lounge and watch the show.
Wow.
60 cents to sit and watch a show back then, 60 years ago. Now it's a lot more. That minimum's a lot more now.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
I love to see him. He's got a youthfulness to him.
He does. I think because he's still doing it, and I say this a lot about the performers, the legends who still are out there on stage, and they get a lot of pushback from people who say like, they should give it up already, they should stop performing. But why?
Yeah.
Because they still have something to give. It's their purpose, and I think it does keep them young.
Yes.
It's passion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the audience energizes them, almost like our audience here on Newsroom Live energizes us.
Yes, it keeps us going. Okay, are you going to go to one of his shows?
Of course, I have my tickets to see him here in New York City.
Here in New York, he's going to be.
Are you
going to
go, Natasha?
Well, now I know Wayne Newton, Mr. Las Vegas. Maybe I will go.
Just don't go to Wayne Nelson because he's performing the next night.
I don't know who that is either, but
no, but there's a show, the 29th and 30th at the City Winery in New York. We've plugged it a lot, so hopefully you get your tickets and you go see Wayne Newton because
amazing.
It's a special show.
Great
it's a great
conversation.
Show. It was fun.
I love
a lot of fun.
that.
Yeah,
right.
we're going to show more at 10 o'clock.
I can't wait.
Can't get enough of him
You
tonight.
can't get enough. All right, Richard
Tasha's
Jacobs.
like, thank you.
Thank you, as
Thank you.
always. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, stay with us. We're going to be back after the break. Welcome back to Newsroom Live as we take a live look outside. This is the Times Square area. You can see the U.S. flag whipping in the wind right there. It is about 40 degrees outside, feels like 30. It's windy, as you can see, and rainy as well. We've got a solid, steady drizzle out there in the streets of New York right now. Something I want to keep you up to date with right now is that outgoing City Controller Brad Lander announced this morning that he is going to be running to represent New York's 10th congressional district, challenging Congressman Dan Coleman next year in a primary. So what you're looking at right now is Jumaane Williams, the city's public advocate, who's speaking at this first public event for Lander. We should be hearing from Brad Lander at any moment now, so we're going to keep a close eye on this. But I do want to listen into a little bit of what Jumaane Williams, the New York City public advocate, has to say.
Not what it is showing us, and that is your next Congressmember, Brad Lander.
Good evening, my friends, and thank you for being here to help me launch my campaign for the United States Congress. I could not be more grateful to be in this incredible room of day one supporters. Give it up again for my partner in safety, for public advocate Jumaane Williams. Now, Jumaane and I have been causing good trouble together for more than 16 years. We actually worked together when we were housing organizers, even before that. And, you know, recently I have gotten some praise for things that people feel like showed some courage. But I'll tell you this, if I learned what it looks like to have courage in causing good trouble, it was because I got to be Jumaane Williams' partner in safety and many other things. And he really has changed the way New Yorkers think about a lot of things, including public safety. We're both very excited about Mayor-elect Mamdani's Department of Community Safety. Jumaane Williams has been talking about alternative ways of keeping each other safe for decades now, and I feel really grateful to be your partner. It is incredible to have the day one support for this campaign from the Working Families Party. Thank you, Ana Maria Archila. The Working Families Party has been my political home for more than 25 years, and I can't imagine launching a campaign without you. Thank you and Jasmine and the Working Families Party and all the affiliates, Make the Road and Cuff Action and DIPAN, all those other incredible groups. It is because of the Working Families Party that we've got the broad progressive coalition that you feel coming together here tonight. Thanks to all of you. I want to shout out 504 Democrats who are part of that J1 coalition. Help and remember that disability justice is a critical element of justice in New York City, and we are not going to forget that. But I love most of all what Ana Maria calls my working family. Pretty great. I put these guys through a lot, my friends, really. And I'm not kidding. I have put them through a lot. And the fact that we have come through it together, that Marek and Rosa, you guys are so brave, that you guys have these incredible jobs of your own, that you show up for our neighbors. Meg and I feel so unbelievably proud. You could take all of this away, everything about it tomorrow, and Meg and I would feel like we were the luckiest parents in the world. And Meg, this thing is not easy for Meg, y'all. It is not her favorite electoral politics. But the fact that you love me and our kids and our family and this neighborhood and this city and this country enough to stand up here every time and say, let's go, is really remarkable. So, and then there are so many friends and supporters from the very first council race to just signed on today. Hundreds of you who are here, over 2,000 people who donated today, many hundreds who signed up to organize as part of this campaign. And let's be clear, it is because all of you know that this moment right now is a 5-alarm fire for our democracy. Donald Trump is abducting our neighbors every day. His ICE agents are at 26 Federal Plaza and now increasingly out in our neighborhoods, grabbing our neighbors off the street with no lawful basis in masks with no reason for doing it. He is eroding our democracy as we speak, bombing people in Venezuela without any authorization by Congress, taking away health care from hard-working Americans in order to give it to billionaires and CEOs. He is eroding the foundations of our democracy and what people are hungry for. The folks in the room tonight and in the 10th Congressional District and all across New York City is for leaders who recognize what time it is. This is not a time for leaders who think this is the status quo, who think Donald Trump is just a passing phase and we can continue to lead with introducing bills or with strongly worded letters. This is a time for leaders who will fight and not fold, who play politics as a team sport, who organize with their neighbors and get out on the front lines. And let's be clear, that's what we've been doing in this community for decades. And I'm just going to talk about a few places we've been doing it right around here. So, welcome to the Nighthawk Cinema. About a decade ago, when I was a council member, it almost got converted to condos. And neighbors worked together, and we preserved it as the Nighthawk Movie Theater. And here we are today, a community institution that was preserved. But you could look just down the street and you can see 60 Prospect Park West, where Greenbrook tried to kick every single tenant out, and neighbors worked together to take on a big fight, and we stood up to private equity that tried to throw every one of those tenants out, and all those tenants are still in there today. And you could look just a little further down Prospect Park West to Prospect Park Residence, where a different kleptocrat tried to kick out all the seniors. Every member of all those seniors who lived in Prospect Park Residence, 150 seniors he came to kick out. And the people of this neighborhood organized to fight back, because that's what we do. We take on big fights and we don't back down. You could look down 15th Street to the Park Slope Armory. And raise your hand if you were at the Park Slope Armory during Hurricane Sandy, when we turned the drill floor of an armory into a place where 500 frail elderly fleeing a hurricane found 6 weeks of solace, incredible food and community and neighbors, so much that they didn't want to go back to their nursing and adult homes at the end of those 6 weeks because this community showed up. We fought hurricanes together. We are not going to back down from Donald Trump. And all those fights involve bringing people together across difference. We desegregated the middle schools of District 15. Something folks said, why would you take on that fight? But it's because we believe every single kid deserves that equal shot at education. We're the only community I know of that said, let's rezone our neighborhood to create nearly 9,000 new homes for new neighbors, including 3,000 affordable ones around the Gowanus Canal. We brought people together. We took on the big fights because we know every single New Yorker deserves a home they can afford. That's what we do in this community. And what you find in those moments like that hurricane is that empathy is a superpower. When people come together in moments of crisis, they become capable of things they might not have expected were possible before. And Jumani talked about the cross endorsement in the mayoral campaign, and something like that happened there. The Working Families Party put a slate together, and then we recognized what moment it was, and that cross endorsement was necessary. And it's not only that we sent Andrew Cuomo back to Westchester. I don't have any T-shirts to reveal tonight, I'm sorry. It was that we unlocked something powerful that gave people hope again for what this city can be when you fight for your values together. What we're talking about is, yes, a kind of Mr. Rogers energy, but a Mr. Rogers that stands up and fights ICE, and fights Trump, and fights Musk, and fights kleptocrats, and fights AIPAC, and says, this is our neighborhood. Loving our neighbors means fighting for them. And that's what I'm going to do in the United States Congress. fight for affordable housing like I have been my whole life, because every single New Yorker deserves it in public housing or tenants or homeowners. And we need more resources from Congress. And that's why Mayor-elect Mamdani needs an ally in Washington and not an adversary in his own backyard. We're going to fight for health care that all Americans can afford, because we can't have Donald Trump doubling people's premiums. And when we win Medicare for all, our friend Adi Barkan, who we're thinking about tonight, who died of ALS about 2 years ago, but who got to testify at that first ever Medicare for All hearing. His spirit will be there with us. The sponsor of that bill, Bernie Sanders, one of our day one supporters, along with Senator Elizabeth Warren and the mayor-elect and Jumaane and WFP. We're going to fight Trump's corruption and hold people accountable, because we're not going to let our country be turned over to people who are putting all the resources in their pockets while workers can't afford their health care, can't afford their child care, can't afford their housing. Thanks to many of you, we passed bills in this city that mean freelancers don't have their wages stolen when they've done the work. That means fast food workers have stable schedules. That means our deliveristas and our Uber drivers get paid a living wage. Well, you know what? Every single one of those laws should be the law of the land in the United States of America. That Freelancers and Free Act was the only bill I passed in the council that was unanimous. All the Republicans voted for it, 51-0. And so I'm challenging every Republican member of Congress to say, freelancers shouldn't have their wages stolen. Let's make it unanimous when we pass it in Congress as well. Because we have to fight back against Trump and save our democracy, but we can't do that if inequality keeps growing. Our democracy is precarious because New Yorkers are precarious, because Americans feel precarious. And Democrats have to fight more boldly, but we also have to show a vision in which everyone can afford their lives and live in dignity. And that is the kind of leadership that we're demanding at this moment. People know the difference between what it looks like to do a press conference or write a letter and put your body on the line. They know the difference between what it means to engage with people across difference and build tough coalitions and close your district office because it gets protested by your constituents. They know the difference between what it means to insist on genuine fighting back against inequality and building a real economy where everyone's got a shot. And just saying those words while folks who are already multimillionaires just get richer. They know the difference. And we're also going to fight for a foreign policy that understands that our core values of human rights and the international rule of law are our interest as well. Democrats need to show a foreign policy, an approach to the world that prioritizes peace and justice and international law. You know, both Dan Goldman and I understand that Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7th was a war crime, but only I, of the two of us, recognize that Netanyahu's leveling of schools and hospitals and the destruction of Gaza was a war crime, is an ongoing war crime. New Yorkers understand the difference between elected officials who say they believe everyone's lives are equal and those who actually act like everyone's lives are created equal. And they don't want elected officials who do AIPAC's bidding in a district that recognizes that our safety, our freedom, our thriving is bound up together. And that is the kind of Congress member that I will be in Congress. To wrap up, I did love this video that we put out this morning of that idea of sort of a Mr. Rogers with a steel spine. Because folks want somebody with that compassion and empathy, but they also want elected officials with the steel spine necessary to stand up to ICE and to Trump, with the courage to stand up to lobbyists and CEOs, with the strategic discipline to build a broad coalition that can actually defeat fascism in the coming elections, and with the focus to make sure that government actually delivers for people. And I love that line that comes from Fred Rogers. Love isn't a state of perfect caring. It's an active noun. And the people in this room are putting it in action every single day. And that's what we're going to do on this campaign. So my last request for you is, who's willing to put this campaign in action? Well, luckily, you got a lot of opportunities to do it. First of all, let's say how great the logo and the posters look. Let's give it up for Ash and the team. You got QR codes around the room that will help you contribute.
All right, you've been listening in live to outgoing City Controller Brad Lander, his first public rally since announcing this morning that he's going to be running to represent New York's 10th Congressional District. He will be challenging the incumbent, who is a fellow Democrat, Dan Goldman, next year in a primary. As you heard there, he's already picked up some major endorsements from Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. In this first speech that we saw, we heard him criticize President Trump's immigration policies and, of course, the ICE enforcement that's been going on here in New York City. We'll have much more. Stay with us after the break. I'll be joined by our chief meteorologist, Nick Gregory. Newsroom Live. I'm Natasha Verma, joined here by Chief Meteorologist Nick Gregory as we take a live look outside the Statue of Liberty. She looks cold out there.
Yes.
Yes.
And a little wet, too.
Yeah, it's been raining nonstop, at least the later part of the day.
Yes, and it's just about to come to an end. As we look at the radar here in a minute. So it's finally coming to an end. There it is. You can see on the loop. We're right on the edge. And the snow that we had way up north and west there, Natasha, up by Ulster County.
All that pink.
Yep, the pink and the blue. The pink is the mixed stuff. That's like mixed snow, rain, or sleet.
Wintry mix.
Yeah, but that's all moving out of the picture now. So we'll be eventually clearing out, but getting windy. And you know what? It's going to get cold again.
Yeah. And is this still part of that Arctic air that's coming in?
Yeah. So it's the again combination of the polar vortex that we've talked about, right? So it's bringing down another shot of polar air, of cold air coming down from Canada. And it's come in waves. We'll have a batch of it for tomorrow and Friday, a little moderation Saturday, then another batch comes down after the next clipper system comes down from Canada. So that's what these are. These are little clipper systems that drop down from central Canada.
How would you rate this season so far? Because it feels colder.
Oh yeah,
on.
well December it's definitely been below average, right? So we're definitely below average. You know, the average high should be around 46, and we made it to 47 today.
Wow.
But this
And
is
it-
the
and
first
it
day in a while
felt
we've been that
warmer
way.
today.
It did because
Yeah.
of that temperature.
Mm.
You know, we've been in the 20s and 30s, so now we get in the
Yeah, get
40s
that
and we cheer it
relativity,
on,
yes,
right?
yes.
So we've definitely been colder than average. We were
Okay.
kind of expecting that with the
Yeah.
pattern that we were talking about back in November that was going to set up for December.
Yep.
So this is just about what we expected, that the winter was going to come on pretty strongly in December. So.
Does this spell a wetter than usual December in terms of snow?
Probably not.
January, February?
We'll see how that plays
Okay.
out down the road. I mean, I think that we have a couple opportunities for snow coming up.
Yeah.
The average first day or first snowfall day in New York City is December 13th.
Oh.
So we're going to get close because Saturday night to Sunday morning, we're going to be watching another system that's going to come in. The question is, how far north
Yeah.
does it get?
Yep.
And one computer model gives us like 3-4 inches of snow.
Where?
So,
in the
city.
In the city?
Yes, that would be for Sunday morning.
This Sunday morning. Okay, Nick.
So, yes.
Nick, I'm not ready.
But again, the first average snowfall is the day is actually December 13th. So
Okay.
we could be right on time.
Wow. All
Pretty
right.
close to
Mother
it.
Nature, she
Yes.
never misses.
No, that's for sure. But we're off our highs now. We're back down to 40 now in the city after being up at 47 earlier. So cold air starting to trickle. Well, not quite yet, but it'll trickle in overnight into tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, we're warmer than yesterday, though.
Single digits.
Yeah, well, that's the 20-hour temperature change. So
Okay.
it's warmer
Oh, got
by
it.
about
Okay.
7 to
Okay.
10 degrees from this time yesterday. So that's a positive sign, but it's not going to last.
Yeah. The rest of the country kind of faring the same
Yeah,
colder than.
no, actually, we're still the coldest part of the country right now. You know,
Okay.
it was mild across the southern states. They were in the 60s and 70s today. It was 80. Again, it's 83 in Miami.
Oh, that's
nice.
So nice.
And it's warm in LA.
Okay.
It's been nice. A lot of the country is actually pretty dry right now. In the 70s to about 80 in LA and Phoenix. And
So you're saying we need to take a trip, right?
when do we leave?
11 p.m.
We're gone. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
But again, that cold air is going to make it down. I mean, in this La Nina pattern that we're in, that's not uncommon, that it's mild
Okay.
from the southwestern part of the country across the southern states. And Florida does very well in a La Nina year, very mild.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
most of the last 3-4 weeks, central South Florida has been in the 80s.
Wow.
So really, really nice there.
And we're getting ready for snow this weekend,
Very
potentially.
possible. We'll be updating that, of course, the closer we get to it, since it's still only
Yeah.
Wednesday. So I reserve the right to change that forecast. But that would be the time. I mean, I just looked at, just before I came down here
Okay.
to do this with you, I looked at one of the newer computer models, and it's the same one that's been consistently talking about snowfall for Sunday morning, and it's doing it
Okay.
again on
Oh, I
this
see.
latest run. One other model is not as aggressive. One actually keeps the storm completely to the south.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll have to see.
When you put your forecast together, how many different models do you?
About 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You just kind of you compare and see, and then you make
Yep.
up your own model based on.
well, what I try to do is I do an analysis. So I tried to see which computer model in the last few days has been the most accurate.
Yeah.
And then depending on the time of the year, certain computer models based on the equations that they use do better than other times of the year.
Oh, interesting.
So, but a lot of it is verification. You know, what did the model go for 2 days ago for today? Was it right? Was it wrong? Which model was the most
You
accurate?
kind of see what's the accuracy and precision.
And the pattern that it's
Okay.
trying to forecast, because the weather pattern may change, and
Yeah.
some models do better with different patterns. So,
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So
I love
that's-
to peek behind the curtain and see everything that you
So
do.
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Sometimes very frustrating. That's why my hair's falling
Yes.
out.
Well-
Because I'm
you-
either pulling it out because
Right,
of frustration, or it falls out because of stress.
It's like no one wins in this.
No.
You're making someone upset out there.
We can't make everybody happy,
Yeah,
you know.
can't
I
make
mean,
everyone happy.
particularly when we talk about snow, right?
Yes.
Because you have people that absolutely hate snow. So you forecast snow, and they're like, oh.
Ugh.
And then you have people like myself that absolutely love snow.
Because you do the
And
snow
so-
activities,
right.
and then you can go skiing.
And it's pretty to look
it's
at
pretty,
in
yeah.
the city for about 30 minutes, but so you can't make everybody happy, right?
No.
So and then what'll happen is you'll go on the air and you'll forecast, and you'll make a comment like, well, we're going to miss out on this snowstorm, so that's great for this, that,
Oh,
we're
you
not
get
gonna
angry emails?
Well, I'll get messages from like ski resorts to say, don't say that because you're
how
making
funny,
you're making it
right.
hard for my business. And then you get all excited about snow, and then you get, don't say that because we don't want snow. It's dangerous. It's this. You can't win.
When I lived in Boston, or even when I lived in Denver on air, I couldn't say if I didn't like the cold because people would be like, "Well, why do you live here?
Why do you here? Exactly.
Why are you here?
So
It's Colorado.
You just can't make everybody happy.
No,
you try, but
you try.
you can't. So.
Well, you
Thick skin.
make us happy with the temperatures today. It was
Today
a
was
little
good.
warmer. Today was a win.
Today I think everybody was happy because even though the people that like the cold and the snow, they probably wanted a one-day break from it anyway.
A little break
right?
is nice.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Then you
breather.
appreciate things more.
Exactly. All right, Nick Gregory, we'll see you at 10 o'clock.
I will be there. Be all excited to see you then.
I can't wait. Thank you. All right, stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
See you at 10.
Welcome back. Well, it was a gut punch to Mets fans. Pete Alonso is reportedly ditching the team that he's played for since 2019 and heading to the Orioles. The All-Star first baseman is said to have agreed to a 5-year, $155 million deal after having an amazing Mets season. Most of the Mets fans that we've talked to very upset by this. Here to break down the deal and talk about it is Lou Albanese,
right.
our sports extraordinaire.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on this deal?
I'm surprised. I thought for sure that they would crack. I thought Steve Cohen would give him the contract he wanted, especially after losing Edwin Diaz yesterday.
Yeah.
That's 2 big hits in 2 days. It shows me that David Stearns is running this team. They want no part of the old players. They want to get rid of as many of the guys who have been here. They feel they're losers. And you know what? Since they haven't won a championship, maybe they are losers. He wants to clean house.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they didn't even make him an offer, which tells me they wanted him out.
Yeah.
And this is a move that's going to upset all the Mets fans. Next year there'll be a lot of empty seats, but it's a move that may, in the long run, be the best thing to happen to this organization because you can't keep bringing back the same people who collapse and lose. You just can't do it.
So this is the strategy that you're seeing, cleaning
Yes.
house for
I've
2026.
It seems pretty obvious now.
Yeah.
Nimmo's gone. Brendan Nimmo's gone, the outfielder. He was originally, probably he was here longer than anybody else at the time. They got rid of Edwin Diaz, let him walk. They could have easily matched that offer. They could have been more aggressive, and they got rid of Alonso. They haven't made any major moves yet. They made a couple of signings, Devin Williams and Marcus Semien. Now it's interesting to see what he can do. Does he go youthful? But they have to do something. The pressure is on because Met fans are angry.
Yes.
They're angry, and when you're angry, you don't buy tickets. So if you want, and they could easily be throwing this season away and say, you know what, we're going to rebuild with young kids in 2026, and we're going to gear up for the following year. Met fans may not be happy, but I'll tell you right now, personally, I think it's the right move because this group has not won.
Yeah, they've got to do something different.
You have to do something. You can't keep
Yes.
rolling out the same people
Yeah.
and to having the same collapses and the same problems. That's
So
just foolish.
Now we've got two big voids in the lineup.
Yes.
Who do you think could take
Well,
these?
I think they could sign Cody Bellinger, put him in left field. I don't know about the power bat. They have a couple of young kids in the minor leagues. One kid named Ryan Clifford, who could very well be the first baseman. They have Vientos, who they liked 2 years ago. He was very good, Mark Vientos. Last year he struggled. I think they have a new coaching staff. I think they feel with the new coaching staff and the young players, if they can develop them. And one thing about Steve Cohen, all that money now is off the books.
Yeah.
He has about $150 million to play with. Don't have to do it all at once, but now it's flexible. Their payroll, they're really signing only two guys. They spend it on Soto, who's making about 75, and Lindor is making about 30. It's $100 million. Sounds like a lot for us. I'd take $100 million. Trust me, I think you might too. But the thing is, you need to use the money you saved and do it wisely.
Yeah. It's big news, but I think it's maybe one that is overdue. The fact that Mets have just like not been moving the meter at all. Yeah.
I agree.
Pete Alonso, I mean, the deal for him. What do you make of that deal? He's going to the Orioles. What do you make
Well,
of
I
the
think
deal?
it's a good deal for him. I mean, he got his money. He's been looking to do that for the last couple of years. 155 is what, about 30 and change for 5 years.
Not bad. Not
so
too
that's
shabby.
not bad. He's got his
shabby.
money.
Have
It's
a nice
guaranteed.
life.
No opt-outs.
Yeah.
He's
Is no opt-outs, is that surprising?
No, because I think he doesn't want to opt out. He's been a free agent 2 times. Why do you want to go through it a 3rd time? In this case, he's going to get his money. He'll be around 35, 36, depending on his birthday. And this is the right move for him. This probably will be his only big payday. Take the money, go to Baltimore, and make it work.
All right. There you have it.
Yeah.
Lou, thanks for breaking this down for us.
My pleasure. My
All right.
pleasure.
We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. I'm Natasha Verma. As you guys know, weekly I do a podcast called Talking with Natasha. And this month, because all of my guests have been authors, we decided to do a December book club. So my second guest this month is an author. She just came out with a brand new book called Nobody Cares About Your Career. She's the former CEO of Barstool Sports, the first CEO of Barstool Sports. She took it from a blog out of Boston to a $550 million corporation and movement that it is, a media empire. Her name is Erica Ayers-Badon, and we talked about leadership, burnout, and where media is actually headed. Here's a look at what we talked about. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talking with Natasha. I'm here with Erica Ayers-Badon. Thanks
Hello.
for joining me.
Thank you.
Jokes on everyone. You thought you were going to come in for a business conversation. We're really going to talk about our Bernese Mountain Dogs.
I'm down. I'm here for it.
Tell us about your dogs.
Oh, I have 2 girls.
Let's just get into it.
They're the right out. She's coming in hot with the dog stories. I'm obsessed. They're great. Bernese Mountain Dogs are the best. I'm a Bernese Mountain Dog stan. They're crazy and large, and they shed everywhere, and they love up so much. So they're just characters.
And you've got pictures here. What are their names?
Their names are Tatine and Angelica. So it's kind of like a lady and a whore, which I think every woman has within her. And they're great. They're good girls.
I love it. Matt, are we on TikTok live? I don't know. I don't see the picture. I don't see the picture because we are on YouTube live right now, and we've got some people are chiming in. They're excited for this conversation.
I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah. The reason why you're on our podcast today is because you've written this great book, Nobody Cares About Your Career. What's in a title?
A lot. I think it's true. When I was deep in my career, my kids were really little. I was working all the time. I would say to myself when I wasn't at work and doing life things, like, nobody cares about your career. And I took great comfort in that. It's one of the chapters in the book, and I was looking for a title of the book, and it kind of popped out that should be the title. And the reason I think it's important is your career should be for you. It should make you happy. It should push you to be a new type of person. It should take you to a new place. It should fuel you and feed you socioeconomically. But if you're doing a career or living a career or making the motions through your career for somebody else, it's never, ever going to satisfy you. It's never going to fulfill you. You're not going to be happy in it. And so that's why I called the book Nobody Cares About Your Career. One is no one's responsible for your success. I think a lot of people go into the workplace now thinking your boss is going to do it for you, your manager is going to take care of it for you, your coworker is going to cover for you. Like, you've got to propel yourself through your career. And then 2, you should do what you want, and you should do what makes you happy.
Was there a turning point when you realized nobody cares about your career?
I always felt very comforted in that nobody cared about my career. I think people in general are pretty self-absorbed, and you think that everybody's talking about why you didn't get a promotion or how you didn't get that job you were going for. Like, I think people have a perception that everybody's talking about them or everybody's interested. And the reality is that people aren't. And I always said that to myself as I made mistakes in particular. Yeah. And so the turning point for me was, every big jump or mistake I've made in my career has actually opened the door to something else that I couldn't have anticipated. And if I had been so worried about what everyone thought I should be doing, how I should be doing it, what I was doing, I would never have made those jumps, and I would never have tried the things I tried. I would never have gone to Barstool Sports. I wouldn't have made a lot of the moves that I made. And so realizing that nobody really cares and what you're left with at the end of the day is what you've learned and what you've done, I felt was really important, and I wanted to share that with other people.
Speaking of Barstool Sports, you talk about becoming the first CEO of what was then a blog, a small blog out of Boston and out in the West Village, working on a second headquarters there. When you first told people that you were leaving, you were worked at AOL and you're moving to Barstool Sports, what did people say?
Oh, people were like, you're a loser. They were like, you're committing career suicide. Like, why would you do that? And I actually was really obsessed with getting the Barstool job. I heard about the Barstool job. I write about this a lot in the book. I heard about the Barstool job. I was super jealous. I was like, Dave Portnoy is going to find like a white guy in a button-down shirt with a vest who used to work at like Activision and has an MBA, and he's never going to find someone like me, and I'm the right person for this job. And a lot of people didn't see what I saw, which in hindsight was really refreshing and really created a huge opportunity that I don't think people saw coming. And then the second piece was I got fired from every board I was on. I was disowned by my kind of women's community.
Because you worked at Barstool.
Because I went to Barstool, and it made me feel like my back was against the wall, and the only choice I had was to be successful, and the only way I was going to get there was from our own propulsion. And I think a lot of times when you make a career move, you're kind of half in, and I think being all in on something is a really good thing.
Really good question from Brian Farrington. If Dave called, would you ever return to Barstool? And are you surprised that they are finally being welcomed by network TV? Because you talk about that on ESPN too.
100%. I'm so psyched that they're on Fox. I'm so happy. The day it was announced, I texted with Dave. I'm so happy. I don't think Barstool needs me anymore. We built a machine. We built an incredible foundation. If Dave said, come back, I really need you, like, of course I would consider it, but I don't think he does. And I think that's what's so special about what we built.
You're the CEO at Food 52. Talk to me about that decision to go over there and the similarities to your time at Barstool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the same kind of thing when I took the Barstool job. We sold Barstool twice in 2023. We sold it to Penn National for $550 million. We bought it back for Dave for $1. I was like, I've like done everything I'm gonna do here. Like, there's nothing's gonna beat 2023. And I think people thought I would stay in sports, and I think they thought I would stay in sports betting. And I was like, you know what? Like, I've spent a decade now, like, in this thing, living it, loving it, giving myself to it. I would like to talk to a new consumer. I'd like to learn a new type of business. I'd like to explore a new frontier. And moving to the women's space, moving to the home goods, home furnishings industry, moving to commerce was a big jump. And, you know, I think in a lot of ways people are like, what's she doing here? Or why'd she make that decision? It was hard. I learned a lot. I've made 1,000 mistakes in the process. But I think it's a really good, you know, I'm so much smarter than I was when I left Barstool. I'm so much more versatile. I'm so much more experienced. And I think that's what you should be looking for in your career.
When is the right time to leave?
When you're not challenged. When you're bored, when you're mailing it in, when you're dissatisfied. I think it's easy to be to have contempt for where you work. I think a lot of people right now have a lot of malaise. There's a lot of fear. And I think it's a good time to leave when you're like, I'm not scared by anything. I'm not learning anything new. I'm not taking on anything interesting. I show up at work, I complain about work, I have lunch, and then I like do a few things and I complain about work some more. Like, if you're in that vortex, leave, or try to leave.
Yeah. So Food 52, and you know, you're here at Food 52 in a very different time compared to when you were at Barstool Sports. I mean, you pulled that from a blog to a $550 million thriving company now, which now has a deal with Fox. And what do you see as the future of media in terms of, and this is something that we're grappling with as legacy media, traditional media, where do you see the future of media going?
Oh, I mean, media is so messy. Like, that's what's amazing about media. You know, you see right now, the media business, people are very worried about search traffic, right? AI is here. You're finding your information from ChatGPT or from AI. You're not discovering things from Google anymore. Like, I had helped launch Demand Media, which was built on Google in like 2009. And so there's a paradigm shift happening. The personalities are really important. Social media is really important. Podcasting is really important. Point of view is really important. And so I think the media business is figuring that out. It's figuring out, hey, I've got to win every page view that I get. I can't just make myself discoverable on Google to get there. There's obviously a lot of mergers and acquisitions happening, and kind of the titans are moving and kind of pairing different assets up. But I think the media business is more challenged than it's ever been. It's more uncertain, but the media business is always challenging and always uncertain, and I think that's what makes it a super exciting place to work.
Do you think we're ever going to get so oversaturated in content that the bubble is going to burst? It feels like everyone's got a podcast, everyone's got a microphone. You can order one from Amazon and have a platform. Is the bubble ever going to burst? Are we just going to get so sick of it?
Well, we're kind of in the bursting bubble now. Like, if you think about it, I think there's something the amount of creators or quote unquote influencers is 10x what it was, and is multiplying. Anyone can be an influencer. Everyone is an influencer. I think what you're seeing, to your question on the future, is it will be about communities, right? It will be about, it will be more specific. It will be more offline. It will be more human in the connections you're creating with people. I launched something called Work Like a Girl. I had created Work Like a Girl as a t-shirt idea at Barstool, sold a bunch of t-shirts, kept the IP when I left Barstool, created Work Like a Girl.
That's smart.
Which was smart. I
the
trademarked
IP.
everything. Keep the IP, trademark your stuff. That's like a good career advice thing. But long story short, now it's a community of professional women. They talk to one another all day. They're there for one another. They're resources for one another. The community is the future of media. And I think that's what's going to break the bubble bursting. I think the flyby traffic of it's all very derivative. I think you have to be original. I think you have to have something to say. I think you have to know who you're talking to, and you have to deliver value to them.
I love to hear you say that community is the future with media, because, you know, in my own world, what I'm hearing from other people, maybe on air, is that AI is going to replace us all, and AI is coming, and this cold, hard robot's going to come and take your jobs. So do you see that happening?
I think the cold hard robot is going to take some jobs, right? Like if you look in the ad business right now, you have Omnicom merging with IPG. It's like the single biggest merger in recent history. They are going to cut 10,000 jobs out of these two companies. That's a lot of jobs. The back office jobs are going to go to a computer. But the jobs that are creative, the jobs that are about human connection, the jobs that are, you know, convincing a client of an idea or conveying an opportunity to someone, those jobs are not going to go away. And I really think about, you know, we can't be scared of AI. AI is everywhere. It's in your car, it's on your Spotify, it's in your feed. Like, we live in AI right now. But if you're enabled and more efficient because of AI, it's those people who will succeed. And if you really double down on what's human connection, human storytelling, human creativity, AI will never replace those things.
Personalities, you also mentioned, so important. I mean, obviously they were so important at Barstool. I mean, Frank the Tank, you got all of these huge personalities that make Barstool Sports what it is. Are you looking to have the same kind of personalities with Food 52?
Yeah, I think different. You know, certainly we're looking for more expertise and perspective at Food 52 in terms of, you know, what is an awesome way to host a holiday dinner, right? What is the best way to take hotel culture and make your home feel like a very high-end hotel experience? What's the best way to feed yourself? What's the best way to feed the people you love and create home and hearth around you? We've built a lot of great personalities. We're starting to see a real interesting pipeline of more. Barstool was interesting because we just tried to make people laugh all day. And that's really the heart of Barstool, is every day started with a blank page of making people laugh. Way harder in some regards, way easier in others. But the idea of being personality first, being social first is really, really important.
I love to know what uber successful people like yourself do in the morning. I read a little bit about what you do. for an hour, you watch CNBC. You know, I'm reading all this. What's the first thing Erica does in the morning?
Oh my gosh, I am the laziest person ever. I feel like I ask people this question as well, and they're like, I get up and work out for 2 hours. I'm up every day by 5 a.m. and I am sleeping till the last possible minute that I have to get up.
Hitting snooze?
I'm not even a snoozer. I'm just like, I don't even bother setting the alarm. I just am lying to myself about the things I'm not going to do, and then I feel badly about myself. I like love up those Bernese Mountain Dogs. So I'm like all about the Bernese Mountain Dogs.
All right, you've been listening into a little bit of my conversation on Talking with Natasha, my podcast with Erica Ayers-Badon, the first CEO of Barstool Sports, now the CEO of Food 52. We had such a great conversation. We talked about what she's doing at Food 52 and the future of media as well. Super interesting. You can watch a full interview on YouTube, Fox 5, or the Fox
Coming up, find out what happens when we hit the streets of New York and ask,
what one thing would you change about New York City and why?
New York was voted top 5 worst cities for dating in the world. What's your dating life like?
What are your thoughts about casinos potentially coming to Queens and the Bronx? Ooh.
Should New York City get tougher on subway and bus fare evasion? Absolutely not. There's no reason to be doing that.
Personally, I think it should be free.
No. They should fix their stuff first. Then you can, definitely get tougher. And I understand, it's a catch-22. Oh, if you don't pay, where's the money coming from? This, that, and the third. But I just don't see that. This is New York City. There's multiple different ways to make money here. There's tourists, there's this, there's that.
My answer is yes. I ride the subway all the time, and I do see people jumping over the turnstile, and frankly, I do feel resentment. So I do think that should be monitored and fined.
Some of us had to pay, while some of us didn't have to pay the $2.90 for say subways. I feel like everyone it's a rule that everyone has to do. You can't just evade it because you don't want to.
If you had to give up one, which one goes and why? Instagram, TikTok, or X?
Say
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
TikTok 100%.
100%.
TikTok's just full of so much it's got such a wide variety of things, but there's also so much bad stuff for I feel children mainly. There's terms brain rot, but if you know what brain rot is, it's actually pretty bad for children, and there's so much children on the app that I just feel it's not good for people anymore. It's just spreading negativity more than positive stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what he said. There's just a lot of negative stuff on TikTok. Nothing really positive goes on around there. For children, it's just your dopamine receptors are just absolutely fried after a session of TikTok. For adults, it's just not productive at all. So it just gotta go. It gotta go from the list.
I'm gonna say X because of the scammers. Every time I go on Twitter, it's just a bunch of scamming, sugar daddy this and sugar mama that. So go ahead and give it an X. I think Instagram and TikTok are still mainly they're platforms everyone uses, I guess. I don't know, for videos.
I'm unfortunately really chronically online, and I'm very much on the internet, so I tweet a lot. First of all, I don't call it X, I call it Twitter. So I tweet a lot. I'm very, very much on Twitter, so I wouldn't be able to give that up. And I doom scroll a lot, so honestly, probably Instagram, because it's too, at this point, professional, if that makes sense. It feels really intimidating, and I really only use it to keep up with friends from back home. So probably Instagram.
I'll do this one. What are your thoughts about casinos potentially coming to Queens and the Bronx? Ooh. That's kind of hard. So I understand that it's really good for the economy as far as giving us jobs and things like that for, the local communities, but that's just temporary. So I'm not really sure because, unfortunately, it does bring issues with gambling and things like that. I think it really depends on the community and what they're okay with as well.
They can go to Las Vegas if they want to gamble. I don't think it necessarily brings the kind of environment and values that help create the community strength that we need throughout the 5 boroughs.
I think it's a positive thing, actually. Usually revenue is created by the jobs, and I think it's a good thing. I think casinos coming to the Queens and the Bronx will create jobs, and real gamblers are going to go find some place to lose their money anyway. So I don't think it's going to create a gambling issue that doesn't already exist.
What are your thoughts about the existence of aliens, and do you think they will ever visit Earth? I actually do believe in aliens. I don't know, maybe they're in the sea, but I think they probably will visit Earth one day in maybe 1,000 years.
I think that alien life probably exists because to assume that we live on Earth alone is, I think, arrogant. In the universe alone is arrogant.
So I'm going to be funny because I think aliens are already here. I really think that we have extra
terrestrial things already living on Earth, but a lot of people just don't believe it, and I do believe that you believe in a higher being that would also be considered an alien.
I believe in aliens because like there's no way that it's only us that's on Earth then, but I don't know if they would ever come to Earth because like even the thought of aliens, like we don't even know what they would be, like if they would be smarter than us or dumber than us.
We've got more questions and more views coming up. First, let's travel around the city and NYC it.
It's all about the 90s Y2K nostalgia. So when you come here, you're being transported back to the days where you could rent a videos.
Yes, she's talking about a VHS. This here is a 90s themed speakeasy that has popped up inside the Virgin Hotels off Broadway in Midtown.
Every, 20 years you think about the simpler times, right? There were no cell phones, there was nothing. We have these boom boxes that we feature. So it's almost nice to go back to think of the simpler, fun things that you could do.
The experience is called Back to the Video Store, where nostalgia and cocktails collide. Created by bucket listers, the pop-up has traveled to 9 other cities, including Miami and LA.
I just thought it would be fun to have a speakeasy vibe of a bar concept that you could come and just have some 90s feelings.
A vintage wall of VHS tapes, but there are no movies inside. What you'll see is a list of ingredients for a cocktail.
This is the main wall. This is the main cocktail wall, so you're gonna see shots, you're gonna see all the drink titles here, your VHS. We've got some Men in Black, maybe a Toy Story. Do you like vodka? Do you like tequila? What's your preference for it?
What do we have here?
Okay, here you're gonna see your Jaws. We've got our little sharks inside floating around in a pool of blood. Here, of course, the famous Caucasian Big Lebowski. And then over here we have the Karate Kid. You've got your little chopsticks, little popcorn on top. Very fun.
Aside from drinks and food, you also have arcade games. Sasha and Sasha came for date night.
90s kids, so I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, definitely gotta check it out.
I got the Big Lebowski.
Did you try it?
I will now. It's good, yeah.
And what's a pop-up without the gram? I mean, come on. Opportunity to take a photo? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I love it. I like the blockbuster theme, and she knows that I love everything 90s, video games, all of it. So this was a great date.
Back to the Video Store is now open Wednesday through Sunday until March 8th. Tickets start at $18. You can head over to bucketlisters.com for more information.
I mean, what else can you ask for? It's a 90s vibe all the way. Do you hear the music? I got my burger, my wings, and my Karate Kid cocktail. Cheers. In Midtown, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
This is Speak Up New York, the hot topic show where your views come first.
What one thing would you change about New York City and why? I suppose I would change the astronomical heights that both commercial and residential rents have risen to. I would have capped them off at something reasonable.
What would I change? I would change, so we would have an actual bus lane, like the bus stays in that bus lane, that's it. You do not come out, you stay in that lane, that's it. That's your lane, you stay there. We don't go there, but you stay there, right? What else? Bicycles, that'll go onto the sidewalk. I bike and I drive. I do both, so I understand both sides. That will go on the sidewalk. No need for that to be in the street. No standing zones. Don't know why we have that. Doesn't make any sense. Every no standing zone, it's like it has a whole mile radius. There's no reason for the whole standing zone to not be able to park in. So I would get rid of that.
Oh God, I love New York City. It's just hard. I wish there was a way for me to change food waste. I just feel like there's so much. I work in a restaurant, so I'm constantly seeing just so much food. I honestly wish New York City had this thing where you can kind of pay for what portion you want. Everything should be weighed, maybe. I don't know, because then you could just kind of take what you want and eliminate the waste of food. I feel bad that some people in the world have no food, and there's some people that just so much food goes in the trash.
New York was voted top 5 worst cities for dating in the world. What's your dating life like?
Non-existent. That's all I gotta say about that.
Well, I've been with the same person for about 20 years, but 20 years ago when I was dating in New York City, it was awful. And the apps made it awful. And the not being easily able to meet somebody naturally was a real handicap.
Okay, there we go. What are your thoughts about driverless cars?